Welcome back to Hannity. So just hours after a deranged gunman murdered two local TV journalists live on the air in Virginia, prominent Democrats all across the country, well, they tried to politicize the tragedy. Naturally, that included President Obama. He told the local news station, quote, "What we know is that the number of people who die from gun-related incidents around the country dwarfs any deaths that happen through terrorism." Now, President Obama was not alone in using this tragedy to advance a political agenda, and that, of course, being a pro-gun control agenda. Watch this.
We have got to do something about gun violence in America, and I will take it on.
While there is no piece of legislation that will end all violence in this country, there are some common sense things that only Congress can do that we know would have a tangible impact in reducing gun violence in this country.
There are individuals in this country who should not be allowed to own a firearm. And it's just, to me, common sense, and it's just tragic that this kind of legislation cannot be passed and signed into law.
Here now with reaction, Milwaukee County Sheriff, our friend David Clark, is back with us. Sheriff, we know that this guy had a history of being unstable. There were warning signs everywhere, and they'd been there for a long time. To me, this isn't a gun issue. This is a mental health issue. Thoughts?
Well, shame on the left, shame on the Democrats for once again exploiting misery and tragedy to pursue a political agenda. Shame on the President of the United States to invoke terrorism into this horrific incident that happened in Virginia. Look, this is a political movement. The President knows it. Everybody that you just played knows that. This document right here should not be used in knee-jerk fashion over some horrific incidents that happen in the United States. This document, the Constitution, protects freedom and liberty. It does not prevent horrific acts done by human beings. So if we really want to do something, if this was really about reducing gun violence and was really about reducing crime, we already know how to do that. You identify the bad guys, you arrest the bad guys, you adjudicate them, and once they're convicted, you lock them up for the longest period of time allowed by law. Barack Obama, on the other hand, is letting them out the back door. He recently visited a federal prison and pardoned 46 federal prisoners, longtime federal convicts, and he plans on doing more. So while the police, the community, and the people are trying to get these individuals out of their community, he's pouring them right back in.
Yeah. I mean,
this was a chance for the president, Sean, to bring the country together, and once again, the divider in chief goes out and further separates us.
How many convicted illegal immigrants did the Department of Homeland Security and ICE know about that after they spent time in prison, rather than deport them, they let them back onto the streets of America to commit more crimes, and in many cases, violent crimes? I really don't feel like getting lectured by the president. What do you think we could do legally, constitutionally, for people that we know that are violent, that are showing signs and symptoms of instability? Because remember, we kind of opened up our mental hospitals a number of years ago, and we let a lot of people out. We said we were violating their rights, and obviously this was a very evil, disturbed human being.
Well, look, Sean, as you know, terrible things happen in this world from time to time, and we have to be a little more humble about our ability to prevent every horrific situation from happening. There are certain things that we can do to reduce and prevent these sorts of things. Not messing with this document, no. But we can do things like better mental health screening, better background checks. The FBI allowed a guy to purchase a handgun that went down, we understand, and committed a horrific act recently. So, if we're trying to make this absolute that none of these things will ever happen again, well, then we're working on the wrong thing, because unfortunately in the world we live in, with the evil that exists, it's going to happen.
Well, what does a woman do if she's being threatened by a guy, and if there's a 7-day waiting period and the threat is immediate, that her life has been threatened? What do you do in that case if she can't go into a store and get a gun at least to protect herself and give her a fighting chance, right?
Well, it happened recently in New Jersey, where a woman applied for a handgun permit and it took forever to get it, and in the meantime, some stalker boyfriend or former boyfriend went and killed her. But here's my challenge to the President of the United States. If you think this is so easy, forego your Secret Service protection for you, for the First Lady, and your children.
Good luck.
And see what it's like to have to fend for yourself. And then we'll sit down and have a conversation so you know what we here at ground level have to deal with on a daily basis in terms of self-defense. I am done asking people in my community to outsource their personal safety to the government.
All right, Sheriff, thanks so much for being with us. Appreciate your insight. When we come back, up next on Hannity.
Last night, who do you think they protested for? The thug, the criminal, because they're hollering police brutality. Are you kidding me? Police brutality? How about black brutality?
All right, that was Peggy Hubbard. She's the woman that called out the Black Lives Matter movement. Last night, Senator Rand Paul, he weighed in and said this.
I think they should change their name maybe. If they were All Lives Matter or Innocent Lives Matter.
We'll get reaction to both their comments coming up straight ahead.